production is about the Gulf 1. However, the caption here reads Gulf 2 SSB. These submarines provided theater nuclear strike capability in the Baltic and Far East areas. 1984 Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force. Cool, the Japanese were looking at a Gulf 1 or 2. A Gulf. Now here's this Soviet ballistic missile submarine. Caption reads Gulf 2 SSB with communications mast raised. The low structure abaft. The conning tower houses a communications buoy. The lower set of windows on the conning tower are sonar antennas. There is an extensive sonar installation in the bow, 1976. So now this production is about the Gulf 1. And I guess what is called K-129, where this type of submarine had gone rogue and made an attempted attack upon Hawaii back in 1968, and due to an encryption encoder self-defense destruct mechanism, she blew up. Or so that's the story. I don't know the full details of the situation. Here's my thumbnail sketch drawing of the Gulf 1. And please do not be enraged at my drawing. The configuration graphically reminds me of the German Type 21 boot. But that's my hearsay and conjecture. There's a torpedo bays. And the story is one Gulf 1 submarine was lost at sea in the mid-Pacific in 1968 with her entire crew. Portions of the submarine were raised in 1974 by the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, which used the built for the purpose lift ship Hughes Glomar Explorer, later given the U.S. Navy designation AG-192. Three submarines retaining the class, Three submarines retaining the basic Gulf 1 SSB configuration have been scrapped. The plans and some components for an additional Gulf SSB were given to China and assembled there. So what happened was, the story goes that the crew seized the ship and attempted to launch nuclear missiles at Hawaii. And then the booby traps went off and blew the ship apart. And the submarine plunged down into the depths of about 16,000 feet of water, I think. And then one day the Glomar Explorer came up under the auspices of the Central Intelligence Agency, and they recovered. At first, I think they seized like the whole submarine, and then they ended up just recovering a component like this, because Soviet submarines by default are very heavy and medieval and gnarly. In other words, they're very heavy, fast, and mean. And they're not quite like Western submarines, to be explicit and to the point. So the United States and Britain, they at least have one in their possession. SSN-5 Serb SLBM. So that's quite a coup. And that's just the stories that I've heard on YouTube and a book I read in the past. And that is a production of the Gulf 1. Of 1968.